Good morning. How is everybody doing today? You're probably wondering why I'm dressed in this outfit. Well, this is pretty much what they wore in the times of Daniel, which was around 600 years before Christ. Now, this outfit is worn in the Middle East, and that's where Daniel was taken when he was a child by Nebuchadnezzar. Have you wondered why Daniel was thrown into the lion's den? Well, he was a man of God. He had a lot of faith, just like his companions, Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego, when they refused to kneel to the statue that was made by Nebuchadnezzar. And as a punish, they were thrown into the fiery furnace. But God delivered them. Now, Daniel, he was despised, or he wasn't liked by this people that worked for the king, because Daniel was favored by the king. And they wanted to get rid of Daniel, but they couldn't kill him. So they made up a plan and they went to the king and they asked the king to sign this law that anybody that petitions a king for 30 days, other than the king, that they would be put to death or thrown into the lion's den. Now, this law, when Daniel heard, he had a lot of faith. He didn't hide. Let me read to you from the book of Daniel, chapter 6, verse 10. It says, "Now, when Daniel knew that the writing was signed, he went home, and in his upper room, with his windows open towards Jerusalem, he knelt down on his knees 3 times that day and prayed and gave thanks before his God, as was his custom since early days." So here in verse 10, we see that Daniel, upon hearing the law, he didn't hide. He opened his windows so that everybody could see, and he knelt 3 times that day. That was custom. He probably did it in the morning, in the afternoon, in the evening. I don't know what times he did it, but it says that he did it 3 times. And with the windows wide open so anybody could see that he was praying. Also, it says that it was his custom since early days. So he did it from early childhood. Now, how many times do we go to God in a day and pray to God? Maybe once, twice, maybe not even one. Okay, so let me continue. Then this man gathered and found Daniel praying and making supplication before his God. So they knew, this man knew that their plan worked because they wanted to convict Daniel and they found him praying. So this man, they went to the king and they told the king that Daniel was praying to his God. And the law that had been written was that anybody that was found, or that no one should petition for their gods for 30 days, other than you, O king, that should be put to death. So the king asked Daniel to be brought to him. And the king asked Daniel, "What is it, the report that I'm hearing?" So Daniel, he didn't lie. He told the truth. Now, how many of us, when it comes to being persecuted, or if our life is in danger, would not lie to save our own lives? But Daniel, he was a man of God. So he told the king, yes, it is true. So the man, they told the king, well, if someone is found praying, they need to be thrown into the lion's den. So now Daniel was thrown into the lion's den. How do you think Daniel felt at that time? That his life would be over? That he would be killed by the lion's den? Or that God would deliver him? That he would save them? Well, our faith sometimes is put into test. But let me continue. Verse 18, it says, Now the king went to his palace and spent the night fasting. That means he didn't eat. And no musicians were brought before him. Not even any distraction would make him happy. Also, his sleep went from him. That means that he had a restless night. He couldn't sleep. Verse 19 says, Then the king arose very early in the morning and went in haste to the den of lions. So the king, when it was daylight, and this must have been like maybe very early, 6 in the morning, I don't know exactly, but he went as fast as he could. Why? Because he wanted to see Daniel dead, or because he wanted to confirm that God had delivered Daniel from death. And when he came to the den, he cried out with a lamenting voice to Daniel. The king spoke, saying to Daniel, Daniel, servant of the living God, has your God, whom you serve, continually been able to deliver you from the lions? So here, the king, he went as fast as he could because he wanted to make sure that Daniel was still alive and that his God saved him. Then Daniel said to the king, O king, live forever. My God sent his angel and shut the lions' mouths so that they have not hurt me because I was found innocent before him. And also, king, I have done no wrong before you. So here, Daniel gives an explanation why he's still alive. My God has delivered me, has sent an angel to shut the lion's mouth. And because he was found innocent, he didn't do nothing wrong in the sight of the Lord and also to the king, that's why he was still alive. God delivered him from death. Verse 23 says, Now the king was exceedingly glad for him and commanded that they should take Daniel up out of the den. So Daniel was taken up out of the den, and no injury whatever was found on him, because he believed in his God. So here, when Daniel was taken out of the den, okay, everybody could see that not even a scratch was on his body. Why? Because he had faith, and God delivered him. He protected him all that time that he was in the lion's den. Now, how many of us been in that position? I would say very few. But sometimes our faith is tested, and we don't know when that will be. But here's an example that God can deliver us, because with God, all things are possible. So, thank you and have a blessed day. And God bless you.